We start the chapter with Prometheus relaying the events that happen with Dr. May in the Bubble universe to Kevin. His stoic reaction angers the AI, and apparently Kevin never got the memo that's something that you should never do. Hare reveals that Project Stigma is not a permanent solution because it doesn't eliminate Honkai, it only temporarily imprisons it in Kevin's body. Because of that, he will never be able to truly die, and he will be forced to live alone in an empty world. After that, she returns the name Hare to the man and leaves World Serpent. As Mysteline and Prometheus are about to leave, the AI turns around and slaps Kevin, expressing her anger towards him because the man didn't even shed a tear for Dr. May's gesture. Rita, Sushang and Susana arrive at Mount Taishuan after traveling through imaginary space. Susana doesn't feel very well and remains behind. Rita and Sushang defeat the monsters that are codifying the space and reclaim it by using Sushang's ability as a Stigma awakened. As they advance, they notice a lot of dead imaginary constructs. They meet up with Susana, who was the one that defeated all those monsters while searching for them. Rita remarks that she managed to do that at the same speed as her and Sushang. Man, S rank what? The B rank Valkyries in this world do be powerful. The Valkyries find a mirage of the residents that are still trapped inside the dreams created by Project Stigma, and Rita points out that even if they manage to reclaim the space, waking the people up is an entirely different matter. Shikso told the people that woke up from their dreams that the Great Eruption is happening right now as a cover-up story for Project Stigma. In an earlier discussion, Einstein theorized that the cocoon of finality must be located deep inside the aggregation of human dreams. Since the Stigma space can manifest every desire a person has inside the dream, a lot of people chose to stay inside their dreams instead of waking up. Let's be honest, who would blame them? Life sucks, man. Sorry, I haven't seen my therapist this week. Since the collective dream represents complacence, Theresa wants to enter the spiritual Adam and stir up the sense of individuality inside people's hearts to make them want to wake up on their own. By weakening the spiritual Adam, they also be able to locate the cocoon of finality. Oh, and while all of this is happening, May returns to the planet directory and reunites with Kiana and Bronya. Kevin also enters the collective dreamland to observe the people inside the dreams, and we see one of his memories from long ago when he attended one of the speeches of a philosopher in ancient Greece. This moment serves as a reflection of Kevin's character and mindset. During the first speech of the philosopher, he is not sure what to do. He ponders if Project Stigma is the right thing to do, and if humanity is doomed to repeat the same mistake regardless of its efforts in changing the final outcome. Then, during the second speech, he already made up his mind to implement the project. He doesn't want to, but he needs to. To this, the philosopher presents to him the idea of a hero who wishes to have his ideals stumbled by others, basically telling him that if he is not capable to come up with a better solution, maybe someone else will. During the last speech, the philosopher tells Kevin about the legend of Icarus, pointing out that some people do certain things to serve as a cornerstone for others to overcome, reflecting his exact philosophy in the present day. He still feels like Project Stigma is the only solution, but he also believes that he can serve as an example for the people of the new era and inspire them to surpass him and find a better solution. Meanwhile, we see Theresa entering different dreams. From a schoolyard full of children, a gloomy alley where people who gave up on life gather to run away from their problems, to a sandy beach with a dying elderly man. Kevin becomes aware of Theresa's actions and starts following in her footsteps. While walking through the dreamland, he encounters Durandal. They have a conversation in which Kevin tells her that Project Chimera integrated the dreams of all the Honkai beasts inside his body, creating a shadow that is constantly followed by the cocoon of finality. At the end of their discussion, Durandal acknowledges his efforts as a member of the Kaslana family. She also praises him him for allowing Sue the chance to find a better solution with Project Valuka, even if he knew that it was all meaningless, just like how he is allowing them right now to find a way to surpass him. As the spiritual Adam starts losing its form, the Honkai beasts from Kevin's shadow are restoring it back to normal. Faced with a new crisis, they come up with another plan. Because the cocoon of finality is constantly chasing Kevin's shadow, they could sever a small part of it and use it to reverse locate the cocoon. For this plan to work, they send Sushang to convince Senti to cooperate. Back in the dreamland, Kevin absorbs various Honkai beasts with his chimera powers and looks through their dreams. Most of them are images of desolated planets from the solar system that Finality visited before it set its eyes on Earth. As he kept absorbing more dreams, he realized that the Honkai beasts were controlled by the Herrscher of Sentience, who was using them to attack the chimera's source inside his body. Senti tries her best to stall Kevin, but in the end she is defeated and Durandal takes her place. Kevin noticed that she is not using her holy blade. While he was distracted, Fuhua, using her active Honkai reaction, cuts a small piece from his shadow with Durandal's blade. The shadow turns into a torch in her hand. Then we see a flashback from the previous era when Fuhua used her active Honkai reaction for the first time and lost control of herself. Because of the mental restraint imposed by the Swara, she was bound to see all her comrades and even herself as enemies. Dr. May told her that if she was to use that power again, because of Garuda's healing abilities, she would enter a perpetual loop in which she will attack herself and heal at the same time. In the present day, since her Swara was damaged 500 years ago by her disciples, she can utilize her active Honkai reaction without losing herself. After getting into contact with the Authority of Finality from Kevin's shadow, she realizes that he's no different from her back then. Because Kevin isn't an actual Herrscher, the Authority constantly destroys his body, but because Chimera also has Garuda's genes, he's healed almost instantly. Back at the planet directory, Senti passes the stolen torch to Theresa. As she comes into contact with it, she can barely hold it because of the pain. Honkai beasts, attracted by the torch, start attacking them, and they must stop them from extinguishing the flames. While Cele takes all the dreamlands belonging to humans away to protect them, Theresa removes all the limiters on her battlesuit and undergoes her own Honkai active reaction. She thought that this process will change her into some kind of monster, but when she opened her eyes, her body was normal, with the sole exception that she grew up and looked like a proper teenager now. Meanwhile, Mistalin appears before Cele and tells her that Lambda can help them if she can wake her up from her dream. Lambda awakens in her own dreamland. She is guided by a strange presence inside her mind. That presence is implied to be us, the players, who are observers from a different dimension. Look, I'm not gonna go deep into this stuff since it's not that important for the plot and I already have another video in the making explaining all the fourth wall breaking stuff. So let's move on. As Lambda is waking up, she sees a blurry image of Cele from the future and hears her voice calling for her. Lambda reignites the torch for Theresa, and with her help, humanity is finally able to locate the cocoon of finality. Senti lets Kiana, May and Bronya know that they found the coordinates of the cocoon. They link up their authorities with Kiana, and Senti points out that May is attracting all the other Herrscher authorities to her. They theorize that the Authority of Origin might be the power to integrate all the Herrscher authorities. Soon after, Kiana is separated from the rest. Bronya believes that this might be the work of the cocoon of finality, who recognize Kiana as the Herrscher of Finality on its own. After a beautiful cutscene, Kiana awakens as the new Herrscher of Finality and faces the cocoon together with May and Bronya. She reveals that the cocoon is a mirror and only those that are able to face themselves can become the Herrscher of Finality. In his attempt to embrace humanity, the cocoon becomes a reflection of humanity itself. Though his method was close to stealing, the cocoon also recognized Kevin, and now he wonders who will be victorious between Kiana and him. We start Act 2 with Kevin's flashback from his high school days. The point of this flashback is to show us how Kevin viewed himself as someone that had talent but no character. That is also the reason why he decided to follow Dr. May and make her ambitions his own. And second, to showcase his loneliness. Just like how Sue and May were already gone by the time he managed to land the shot, nobody was around him right now to celebrate his victory over Honkai. Back on Earth, the cast prepares to depart for the moon, but Lambda interrupts them by saying that she has a gift for them. Basically, she uses the captain's wishes from the Honkai Salvation Log event, that is also the password to the master key of the game, to summon Hyperion. They board the Hyperion, and Lambda takes the place of the regular Aichon from the story. After there are no more worlds to break, Kiana starts the ship and starts flying to the moon. While flying, they are attacked by imaginary constructs and use the cannons on the Hyperion to fend them off. They arrive at the Usurper's throne and the fight with Kevin begins. The man uses the Authority of Finality and Chimera's powers to create a giant beast that represents the planet's three biggest geological eras: Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic. After they defeat it, Kevin transforms into a being that is the embodiment of all the Honkai beasts from Project Chimera. While fighting, he brings out a massive shield. Bronya wants to create multiple Selines to break it, like she did back in chapter 28, but Aichon brings the wishes of all the people from the world and also all the captains that have played the game to break not only the fourth wall, but also Kevin's shield. The three Herrschers defeat Kevin, and him and Kiana are having a last exchange near the cocoon of finality in a true Kaslana manner. And by that I mean beating each other up with baseball bats. In the end, Kiana is victorious and takes on the Authority of Finality, becoming the new goddess of Earth, while Kevin is finally able to reunite with his companions inside a dream as his consciousness fades away into nothingness. Kiana is acknowledged by the cocoon as the true Herrscher of Finality and the only successful embrace through all the samsaras. The new goddess contacts May and Bronya through the powers of finality and lets everyone on Earth know through a dream that because the Earth needs time to heal from Project Stigma and cannot handle the power of finality, she will remain on the moon to suppress it and find a way to convert Honkai energy into a harmless resource that humanity will be able to use it for its own benefits. This process might take 5 to 10 years, and if she is successful, many new possibilities will open up for the entire human race. After she says her goodbyes to Theresa, Siegfried, Durandal, Fuhua and Senti, Kiana goes back to the train station to meet up with May and Bronya. With tears in her eyes, Bronya says goodbye to Kiana Idiotka and leaves her with May, who will walk her to the train station. May tells Kiana that she wants to become a teacher because she wishes to protect and guide the new generation and most importantly, impart to them the lessons that Kiana taught her. A train whistle interrupts them as it slowly pulls into the station and opens its doors. The two girls smile at each other in silence as Kiana departs. Kiana goes through the cocoon of finality, completing her transformation and arriving on the moon. After some time, we see some messages from May and Bronya on her phone, and the chapter ends with Kiana taking a selfie and doing the game's icon pose in her Herrscher of Finality form.
Will you promise your heart remains the same? Never can we suspend the time, having to leave the tracks behind.